Hello guys, welcome back. Have you heard of the term Robo-Public? Well, maybe not. So that is the next chapter of this book, The Free Voice, and the chapter name is The Robo-Public and the Building of a New Democracy. So there are two things. The first one is the Robo-Public and second one is the building of a new democracy. So what exactly is a Robo-Public? Robo-Public is actually robot plus public, right? So what exactly is the definition of that? Robo-Public is actually a mob that is, as Ravish says, that it's free of any thinking of its own and it's driven by sheer emotion, and it forms an alternative citizenry. So it's very interesting that he says next that you cannot change them by any argument. You can only call them bhakt, but there is no way that they will ever see the reality and everything, because they are always provoked by their emotion and you cannot appeal to them by reasoning, right? So that's what he says. And then he goes on to talk a lot about fake news, how it's manufactured, why it's manufactured, and how it has been used as a political tool by the political parties, especially the ruling party, as he says. So fake news has a very peculiar characteristics of its own. So he says that fake news first falsified news and journalism, and it is now turning the citizens fake. The Robo-Public is a fake public. A fake public makes a fake republic, a fake political consciousness, and a fake democracy. Because I told you there are two parts. So second one is the building of a new democracy. Then he talks about the WhatsApp University. He has already mentioned it earlier. So he says that it's the biggest laboratory of fake news. In this lab, the process of vilifying anyone who is seen as a dissenter of the ruling regime it just goes on all the time. So how to dehumanize them, how to kind of paint them in a different color. So that goes on all the time. Then he says across the world, this is not only a phenomenon in India. He says across the world, fake news has become the preferred way to subvert democracy and for authoritarian regimes to do as they please. So it's not just unique to India, he says, it's happening all around the world because of the increased popularity of digital space mostly. And then he tells us that fake news changes the character of a society, perhaps not permanently, but certainly for a significant length of time. So what it does is fake news controls our behavior in such a way that we become robots, as he says, Robo-Public, right? So we cease to be citizens and individuals who are capable of common sense and reason. I'd like to repeat it because it's very important. So he says that fake news changes our behavior, it controls our behavior, and because of that, the impact is that we cease to be citizens, we cease to be thoughtful individuals who always criticize the thing or keep a critical point of view towards everything. Then he says when a society goes collectively mad, the fallout affects the functioning of its law and order machinery as well, and that we can see in the current society as well. Then next thing is again very relevant. Rumors and fake news have always been the preferred weapons of fascist and majoritarian fundamentalists in democracies. So it has always been a pattern. It's not something new that they are doing. It has always been a pattern for any fascist and majoritarian fundamentalist government. By inciting mobs, which are Robo-Public, as he says, to fulfill their agendas, they use democracy to subvert and destroy democratic values. Destroy democracy itself at large. So the web of lies, the motivated twisting of facts, the building of false narrative, none of this happens overnight. It is done over months and years and on a large scale. And it begins at the top, in the corridors of power. And then it trickles down to the general public. So the reason this happens is, the implications are, we are getting to see regular lynchings and public beatings of Muslims and Dalits, who are the minority section of our society. So they are being vilified, they are being dehumanized, and everything that could be done wrong against them, that is happening, and the numbers are pretty much increasing day by day. So at last he brings a very important point, that such politically motivated fake news not only removes the citizenry from its reality, because the Robo-Public or the Waqt always lives in a different alternative reality of its own, which is far away from the truth and facts. So it kind of creates a vacuum of truth in the society. So it removes the citizenry from its reality, but it also creates a wide schism between the citizenry and those who ask questions on its behalf. So it's like, if you are standing against the government, you are also considered that you are against the country itself. So he says, citizen or robot, democracy or tyranny, the choice is ours. So I'd live with that. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.